Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a story of what if Madara reveals himself to be Naruto's grandfather. He infused both his cells and Hashirama's cells into Naruto. Naruto becomes strong as a result, awakening the Sharingan and later the Rinnegan. Before we start, thank you for the support, it really means a lot to me. Don't forget to subscribe and leave like and check the description for the creator of this great fanfic and support them for making this fanfic. And now let us start. Chapter 13 Disclaimer. I do not own Naruto, just a child who never knew what it meant to be loved by a mother. Happiness, joy and overwhelming emotions ran around Naruto's body. They gave him a feeling he never felt before. For the first time in years, Naruto cried. His face had even forgotten the taste of tears. Tears had forgotten which path they took whenever they departed from his eyes. This was the first time Naruto cried in front of someone. The last time he cried was because he had killed Madara. Regret and guilt had made him unstable. Zetsu had seen him cry during that time. It was the first time he had lost someone close to him. The fact that he had been responsible for that loss made him cry. This time he was crying. But for different reasons. This time it was not because of guilt and loss, it was because of pure bliss. His tears were out of happiness other than sadness. That was happening because of the woman who was hugging him affectionately. He did not want to allow his tears to come out when the woman appeared before him. He had tried all his best to hold them back. But when she hugged him, he lost that ability to hold back his tears. Her hug was flowing with motherly love, warmth and pure happiness. All that Naruto could feel perfectly well. He could also tell that the woman was overjoyed by seeing him. He had no doubt about that. He could also feel her tears on his skin. Hugging her was unlike anything. Not that he had been hugged often. The warmth she gave him was unlike any other. No one had given him the warmth she gave. She was unique. He felt complete, at peace in her embrace. Naruto had never thought, even in his wildest thoughts, that a simple hug would force him to experience the kind of emotions he was feeling. He was so proud at being in control of his own emotions. He was not ashamed to boast at being a master of his emotions. But here he was having lost control over his emotions. The odd thing was that he felt that there was nothing wrong with it. Naruto hugged her firmly. Her whole body was pressed against his. She did not complain though, she just allowed him to do what he wanted. Finally they separated from their embrace. Naruto did not want to let go, but he settled for placing his hands on her shoulders with a smile, a genuine smile. The woman was truly beautiful. Perhaps this was the first time he had called a woman beautiful. Her red hair only added to that beauty. Mother, he said, his tone losing its impassiveness that it always carried. Masuko, the woman said in a tone filled with complete happiness and warmth. You have grown quiet wonderfully, Naruto, she said. Sit down with me, will you? Naruto sat down obediently next to his mother Kushina Uzumaki. Perhaps Kushina was the person he held at a higher regard than anyone else, even though she was dead. Even more than Madara. This was because she was his mother. She was the one who gave birth to him. She had to mean more to him than anyone else. It's wonderful to see you, mother. I have always wanted to meet you, Naruto stated rather happily. Now he was able to contain himself. But his eternal expression of impassiveness was replaced by one of happiness. It's good to see you too, Yano. Kushina exclaimed happily. Naruto smiled hearing the verbal tick. He used to do it before he met Madara. Now he knew where he got it from, his mother. Kushina smiled at her son. I won't ask anything about how you grew up. I know everything given that I have been watching you from here, she said. But I can gladly tell you more about your mother. I'm sure you must be dying to know more about me, she said with a large smile. Naruto gave a slight nod. Kushina began to tell her story. The story of her life. She explained to Naruto everything about her. First about the Uzumaki clan, which Naruto already knew. Hearing his mother speak, Naruto realized that his mother was what people called a tomboy. He had let loose of a slightly chuckle upon hearing that his mother used to beat up her bullies and anyone who made fun of her hair. He had even forgotten what it was like to laugh. His mother was indeed scary at times when she wanted to be. But overall he was happy that she was his mother. He could not expect less or more from her. She was just perfect. Madara never told him anything more about her. He only told him that she was his mother. Hearing more about her from her own mouth was refreshing. You know, I was very surprised to know that Madara Uchiha was my father. My mother never told me anything about my father even before I was sent to Konoha to become the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, Kushina stated. It was indeed a shock to her. She had thought that her father was someone else, not the legendary Uchiha and co-founder of Konoha. She was just as much as an Uchiha as Naruto was. Nevertheless, she was a proud Uzumaki and would continue to be that one. I was also surprised when he told me. Perhaps happier at the same time. I did not have any family and was lonely at that time, but hearing that I had a family at that age made me happy. Kushina smiled sadly knowing that it was time. She went on to hug Naruto again before letting him go. I am happy to have met you Naruto, she said sadly. I would have loved to hold you as a little baby, breastfeed you. But that was not to be. Naruto refrained from interrupting her while she spoke. He allowed her to say what she wanted to say without any interruptions. She had lost him the day he was born. He had to let her speak. It was the least he could do for her. But anyway. I am proud and happy to call you my son, she said. Naruto, can you do something for your Okasan? Naruto nodded. I want you to enjoy your life, smile a bit more than you have been. It would please my heart knowing that my son is living happily even when I'm not with him. Naruto simply smiled and nodded. I cannot ask you to forgive Minato. But I want you to know that Minato might have been a bit too trusting and sometimes an idiot. But he was the most kind-hearted man I have ever known. If he had another better option to deal with the Kyuubi, I know he would have used it instead of sealing the Kyuubi within you. Kushina wanted Naruto to forgive Minato. She hoped that one day he would find it in his heart to forgive Minato and see him as his father. He did not wish for Naruto to be treated the way he was by Konoha. But not everything went the way you wanted them to. I want you to know that I am proud of you and will always be proud of you. I will never be ashamed to call you my son regardless of the path you take. You are my son, my only son and you will remain that way, she said, her body beginning to fade away. Naruto felt his heart skip a beat. Mother? He questioned. She could not be leaving, could she? Naruto, thank you for allowing me to be your mother. Don't forget who and what you are. Don't try to be someone else. If you do that, you will never be truly happy, she said, poking his chest. Be what your heart tells you be. Always remember that I love you and will always love you. With that, Kushina Uzumaki disappeared. Naruto felt as though his brain stopped working. His body was frozen as he watched his mother disappear. He wanted to yell for her to come back, but his voice failed him. He felt powerless and helpless. Suddenly Naruto's eyes snapped open. His body was covered in sweat and he was breathing heavily. That dream again, huh? Zetsu's voice said beside him. Yes, Naruto replied. What time is it? It's still midnight, Zetsu said. Perhaps we should continue with our journey, he suggested. That sounds good, Naruto said. I would be able to sleep again anyway. The end. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more what ifs and support the author. See you guys in the next video.